Easily entertained, like a book club, but for people with short attention spans.
Strap in, ladies.
There's gonna be spoilers.
Hi guys!
Hi!
This is our first podcast.
Woo!
Yeah. I
love that. Love it.
I want to welcome everybody to Easily Entertained. I'm Sam.
I'm Grae.
And I'm Sammi.
And we're just really excited to talk about Halloweentown this month.
Halloweentown.
What can you say? We're about
I
to
mean,
say a lot.
hopefully at least 30 minutes worth of things.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like my first question about Halloweentown is, have you guys seen it before?
Yes, like every Halloween since 1998.
Wow. Since 1998.
Absolutely.
The year it came out?
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Did you?
I have a history with Halloweentown because I was a little sheltered and was not allowed to watch scary things. So I can't really remember when I watched Halloweentown, but I have not watched it for a while because there were things when I watched it. I was like, oh, I didn't remember that. So.
Yeah. I have never seen it before. This is my
Really?
first time. Yeah, this is the first time I ever saw it. Listen, when it came out, how old were you?
I was 6.
You were 6. I was 3 years old when this came out.
How dare you?
And
You didn't watch it?
No, I would have been horrified. I know that. I was kind of freaked out. Not by, like, the whole thing. Like, I'm not that scared. But, like, the beginning gave me, like, PTSD of Halloween
What?
that I hate.
Like
Whoa.
the Mark Mothersbaugh music
Yeah.
coming in.
I literally was watching it and I was like, oh, God. Oh, no. Yeah.
Why PTSD about Halloween?
Well, I feel like I should say I don't like Halloween at all. Like, I hate Halloween.
What?
Yeah.
How am I just
Not a
learning this?
Not a Halloween gal. Really not.
Why?
I don't know. I remember trick-or-treating was always terrifying. It's the masks, I think. And then I, like, equate masks with like, everything else, you know?
How are you faring in this time of the world where masks are all around us?
Well, those are different masks.
They're
Do you
not,
need, like, full face
Yeah.
masks?
Like
these
the
masks
scream.
aren't like pretending to be goblins. And
Yeah.
the
I'm
killer
telling
from
you,
Scream.
it all started when I saw Scream when I was 60 years old. And that ruined everything for me for the rest of my life. I'm 25 and terrified still.
So this is now the Dr. Phil podcast.
I was just on the Dr. Phil show, so I
You
can...
were.
Yeah.
Yeah, help me out. Help
Wow.
me out.
Wow. So that's an interesting perspective.
Yeah, but
So-
we shouldn't get into that.
No,
That's too deep.
I love this though because obviously I've seen it a lot and you haven't. So
Like
we have
middle.
like a lot of different perspectives.
Yeah.
Of,
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
sure.
So should we like just if we had to summarize Halloweentown, what are the plot points? What's important?
Well, it's about a girl named Marnie
Cromwell.
Cromwell. She is from a long line of Cromwell witches. Bad witches. And her mom is trying to hide that she has these magical powers, which we gotta get into that because I don't understand why still. I feel like there was no real reason. Thoughts about that?
Do we want to focus on the summary first?
Okay, yes. So Marty is a secret witch. Her mom doesn't want her to know, and she's from this magical town called Halloweentown, where it's all things Halloween all the time. Sam, do you want to go into any more?
Yeah, so Marnie's grandma still lives in the town, wants her to learn how to be a witch, so she follows her grandma like in secret with her younger brother and sister in tow, and like there's dark stuff happening in Halloweentown, and they've got to solve it. They've got to figure out how to save their grandma's home.
Yeah. That's a good summary.
Yeah.
I
think
love that.
explains
Yeah.
it.
Sam. Oh, wow.
I mean, to be fair, I've seen it like
Yeah, the most.
at least 12 times. So you wanted to talk a little bit about Marnie's, like, mom and how not okay she was with the whole magic thing.
Yeah.
Can I say, I don't know. Can I say that I did not like her mom? I wrote down, Gwen sucks, dude, on my note.
I mean, she kind of... like, I still do not understand why she was so adamant that I know she wanted them to be human and quote-unquote normal, but they're not. Like, the little sister had cookies flying at her head that she had to grab, so she didn't know she had magical powers. So...
Could you imagine dealing with, like, an angry witch? Like, that sounds awful.
No,
like pots and pans banging in the kitchen.
I know, I agree. I was wondering that, too. Like... She was a witch. She is a witch. Like, why not just, like, mother a witch?
She's obviously
you know what I mean?
self-hating. Like, she's got some self-hating, you know.
Okay, so I'm gonna get back to Dr. Phil's show. Do you think, because their dad died. Their dad was a human. They met, you know, at a Halloween party that she crashed. Dad was a human, and he's dead. Do you think that... What? It's true. Do you think that she wanted her kids to be human so that she could have that part of him still with them?
Whoa.
Okay, so I get where your head's at.
Thank you.
Yes, I do think that. But also, I'm still with you.
Did they say why did they ever say why Dad dies?
No.
It's just a Disney movie.
I feel like,
yeah.
They should have went.
Dies and everything.
There's more levels we
Disney
need.
Ex Machina just happened.
I know. I feel like we need a behind the scenes, like, what's up, really?
Do you really want to delve into like a painful death?
Okay. Well,
yes.
Let's watch the Disney Channel movie. This is death.
Oh, well, they got to put it in there. Why don't we know about it? You know what I mean?
Like that's. That's.
Well, we're talking a lot about Gwen's choices, but let's talk about Marnie because
I hate Marnie.
Whoa!
Oh my god!
I
hate her so much.
Okay, I can understand why, because I did write down that. Dang, Marnie is a sassy gal. This movie starts off with a lot of attitude. Mm-hmm. She is giving her mom
so much attitude.
And the mom doesn't really discipline her. And I'm like, this does not seem... Like, she is a little rude.
Listen, I wrote down multiple things about Marnie. Do like the name. Could I name my child Marnie in the future? Probably. Will I? Maybe. Hope they don't listen to this. She just, the way she acted was awful. Hated that. I don't think I ever acted like that as a teenager.
I feel like it was, like, very overdone. Like, Mom, I'm 13, I'm practically an adult. Like, and I thought she was so cool when I was 6, and now I'm 28, and I'm like, be quiet, respect your mom.
Yeah, I was like, if I was an adult and had a kid watching this movie, I would not want them to watch that, because she just yelled at her mom multiple times throughout the movie, and the mom didn't really even do anything. She's like, oh, Marnie, be quiet.
Marnie.
And I'm like, oh, no, that's a bad influence.
If that mom was an actual witch, she could have, like, bibbity-bobbity booed her into being, like, more respectful.
She should have used her witch powers. But also, Marnie, the thing that really annoyed me about her, she kept talking about freaking deja vu, and the amount of times she's like, oh, I feel like this is deja vu. And it's like, girl, how many times you gotta say that? We get it. Like, this is 90 minutes and you said it like 7 times.
To be fair, she's 13. She probably learned the words deja vu like a week ago, and now she's just using it, you know? Like,
That's true. That's true.
Dang. So your opinion on Marnie has changed. Are you a Marnie liker, hater, in middle of the road?
Yeah, okay. So I really liked Marnie as a kid because I was also weird and liked, you know what I mean? Like, I was also very into Halloween. Like, I mean, that hasn't changed. I still super like Halloween. But I recognize how, like, just so over the top sassy she is. Like, I'm growing roots into the carpet. Like, shut up. Oh my god.
Okay, so you're like on the fence about Marnie.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I am.
No.
Because I didn't like it when she was sassy, but when she's like a hero and trying to save stuff, she's pretty awesome.
Fine.
Yeah.
I think I really identified with Marnie as a kid, and now I fully recognize that I'm a Dylan. Like, I'm such a
dude, let me tell you, before we watched this, and I told Sam I never saw it, she was like, "You're gonna hate the brother. He's like the little brother." And let me tell you, he was my favorite part of that movie.
Are you serious?
He was so funny. And I was like,
what about Arbor Day? Why can I quote this entire movie?
Oh my gosh. So Dylan is the brother of Marnie.
Yes.
And he's kind of like a know-it-all, nerdy kid who likes lots of science.
I wrote the brother, LOL. He made me LOL, I
guess.
That's
it. Just LOL.
LOL.
Do you want to talk a little bit about Sophie? She didn't really have a very big impact.
She was so cute, though.
She's my favorite.
Yeah.
Sophie is the cutest thing.
She is literally the most competent person in this entire movie, and she's so 7.
True. She is.
Like,
true.
she's the one who, like, used her magic wisely, like, turned the lock into a toad, remembered the Betty Gavir, whatever it is, like...
So did you.
Again, I've seen it 12 times. Like, she used the dog to get rid of...
Amazing.
To get rid of the skeleton when he was bad.
Oh, yeah, when he was biting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, I think we should backtrack a little bit, because we haven't talked about them going to Halloweentown or the grandma that much, actually.
Oh, yeah, she's like a very big focal point.
Yeah. The queen, the iconic Debbie Reynolds.
Yes.
Amazing. Should have been a witch her entire life. So cool.
Yeah, she really is a real life witch.
But, yeah, Debbie Reynolds was also kind of not great to her daughter.
Listen, I wrote down multiple times that Gwen was the daughter's name, like the mom's name. She kept calling her mother, and that bothered me. She was like, mother. And I was like, hey, mom, she's a nice lady. Like, why gotta go mother on her? I feel
like that's another reason I didn't like Gwen, the mom, because she was so mean.
Yeah, she was mean
to her mom. And all the mom wanted was to have this Cromwell line of witches that she is stopping from happening.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think she's just a good person. She just wants to save Halloweentown.
Absolutely. Yeah. And nobody listened to her. Like,
it's because she's old and a woman.
And there it is.
Welcome to this podcast. This is how we speak, okay?
True facts. Speaking of how we're going to feel about this movie, I want to go into them finally getting to Halloweentown. They follow their grandma onto this bus, and they end up in Halloweentown. And one of the first people that they meet is Calabar, the mayor.
Listen. Ugh.
What were your first impressions of him?
Okay. Because I know how movies work, right? I knew something was happening, right? So when they introduced him, and I just got like a vibe, you know? I was like, oh, this guy's bad. This guy is playing like the good guy, but he's like hiding a secret, or like something's gonna happen. And I was kind of shocked. Like, I knew what was gonna happen because, you know, but I was shocked that, like, wasn't expecting him and the mom to have a thing. Like, you know?
Yeah.
That shocked me.
I mean, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the dating pool of Halloweentown isn't very deep.
I mean, you're right. You're right. You're very right. It's
like Calabar or Snot Man.
Listen, Snot Man could be a lovely man.
Here's the thing. She should have went with Snot Man.
Yeah. No, I agree. He just creeped me out. Yeah. I wanted to call him something. I don't know. Can't even remember Calabar.
I wanted to like him.
Obviously.
Because I wanted him to be a nice mayor. And I forgot
politics.
that.
Men in politics.
You're right.
Spoiler alerts. Calabar's the bad guy. He's not a good person.
No. He's, actually really bad. But I totally forgot about the love thing between him and the mom. And when he was like, they were like, he's like, is your mom here? He meets the kids. And he's like, is your mom here? And he got real excited. And I was like, wait, is there like a love thing going on?
Exactly.
What the heck? Okay.
It's very
Those kids were very
sneaky.
trusting of that
They
man.
were-
Which I
yeah.
thought was a little like,
Yeah.
what did Gwen teach them?
I was just
You
about to say,
know?
did Gwen teach stranger danger? What's going on? They're not allowed to celebrate Halloween, but they're allowed to go with a strange
Yeah, they're
man.
allowed
Yeah.
to get into a car that a skeleton is driving. Like, come on.
Listen,
Yeah.
if a
You know?
skeleton ever drove up to me and was like, hop in, I'd be like, bet.
I
We're
know.
going. Wherever we're going, we're going.
Bet.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it gave me when they get off the bus and Grandma goes walking. Well, she runs into somebody and somehow it takes the kids like 10 minutes to get off the bus.
Oh,
It gave me anxiety. I'm like, come on, get off the bus, follow your grandma. And then Grandma's gone. And yeah, they're around all these freaking strangers,
Mhm.
monsters, were-people, ghosts, and they're just... Then the bad guy finds them, and they give him all this information. Oh, we're Maggie Cromwell's kids, and yada da da da. It's like, you shouldn't be saying all this
No.
information to this random man
Yeah.
with a jerry curl.
He really did have a jerry curl, though. Like, why? It's 1998. That's
Exactly.
not okay.
I just realized that we're like kind of old. We're like, you shouldn't talk to strangers. Like, who taught those kids? Like,
Oh my gosh.
oh.
But Halloweentown is obviously a very magical place. It's filled with lots of monsters and they're all nice, you know. That's the thing, is that they, you know, broke apart in the Middle Ages because of racism, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Racism
Yep.
against
There's
monsters.
some themes in this
Oh,
movie.
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
and then they lived in their own like self-sustaining town. And yeah, there's you know, wolf people, there's vampires. I am a little concerned about the pincushion woman, because what's that? Why is that's the mayor's secretary literally was just a pincushion, and that's not a monster.
I did not
putting it
see
out
that.
No, I didn't notice her either.
I gotta watch that over
She's like,
again.
I'm on pins and needles.
Oh,
and
I
like,
do
she
remember
like
saying
she
that.
like runs into things. It's so
Oh,
weird.
yes.
What?
Okay, I do
Yeah.
remember her. I do, yeah.
Yeah, she's flighty. But she's not a monster. She's just
How did
wearing
she
a...
get there?
Yeah.
Maybe another world.
Possibly.
Maybe it was freaking Calabar.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He did something. Him and his little, what was he, a warlock?
Yeah,
Yes.
probably nobody wanted to
Probably.
work for him, so he had to make his own
Probably.
secretary
Oh,
out
probably
of a
wasn't very
freaking
nice.
pincushion.
Listen, that's spoilers for the next movie. We're not going to talk
Halloweentown
about it, though. Calabar's Revenge. Have you never? I've seen all
it
of them.
once, and it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So
I forgot there was more than one.
So they end up at their grandma's house. The children, they go into a taxi cab with a skeleton named Benny, very nice guy.
Yes. And can I say, when they arrived to Grandma's house, literally, she's like, "Oh, you're here. Hug, hug." Not like shocked that they're in a completely different world. Like, how the heck did you get here?
That was very
Listen,
casual.
It
Yes,
was very
it
casual.
was.
I think Aggie's seen some stuff, right? Like, she's been around for a long time. She's not trying to question anybody, you know, especially her
Well,
own
that's
family.
true. But it's just like, she's just like, "Oh, you guys are here." Maybe she knew. Maybe she knew
Yeah,
that they
has
were
like
following.
yeah, probably.
That should have. We'll
That's
just
a thing.
She
think
did
that.
say someone's coming, just
Oh,
like
yeah,
Sophie
yeah.
did before. So
Kind of horrifying.
Yeah, so she probably did now.
yeah.
I thought a little more excitement would be appropriate. Dang. It's your first time in Halloweentown.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she's making a potion to stop whatever the bad thing is. We keep on referring to it as the bad thing. People are going missing, they're changing their personalities, and she's very concerned about it. So she has a potion from a box and she puts it in the microwave under
I wrote witches' microwaves are too good.
it says there are buttons that say double, boil, and troubles. It's just a dumb sight gag that I just every year I laugh at it. It's never failed to amuse me. And she says this incantation,
Would
this
you
evocation.
like to do it
It's-
for us, since you seem to know it?
What is it? Betty Gigama, Betty Gain, Cleedith, Beateth, Anolieth, Bid.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
I know, I'm Sophie. Hello.
Oh, yes, we should pick who it would be in the movie.
But so she says this incantation.
That was directed
We're all
Sammi.
Dylan. Truly, aren't we all Dylan?
True.
We literally spent 5 minutes talking about stranger danger.
Yes, that is something Dylan would say.
You're right.
Truly.
A
Truly.
smart man. A smart man.
So the potion doesn't work because it's from a box, so she wants to try it from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
She takes the kids into the town, and they run into Calabar again. And he acts very duplicitously.
So they run into Calabar.
I
This
hate
is
him.
where... What else happened at this point in the movie?
They try out a broom, and they run into Luke, the young troll who got a nose job and thought he was way cool.
He did.
And he called himself the Big Cheese.
Ew.
Amazing.
Amazing.
I take it back. I know I said the brother was my favorite. That guy, close second.
Oh,
Very close
really?
second.
Luke?
Yeah.
He literally is like a Degrassi bad guy. He's like, I'm kind of the big cheese here.
You know, when I was 13, I probably would have been like,
Oh, yeah, straight up had a crush on him. Like,
oh my god, yeah. I would have been like, yes, I'll go out with you 100%. I know that for a fact. That says a lot about me, I know, but like...
It does.
Is that before or after you see his face change?
At that point, she would love him from the inside, so when his face changes, she'd be in it for good.
Well, Marnie turns him down. Marnie's like, I don't want to share an ice cream with you. You stink, big cheese. The Disney Channel insults. They're bad.
Yeah, they're not good.
So while they're flying, Gwen ends up in Halloweentown and is super mad.
Mm-hmm.
Rightfully so.
I want to know how she got to Halloweentown. Did the bus stop just magically
how does
appear
that
for
bus
her too?
work?
You probably, magic.
Because you can only come to the human world from Halloweentown on actual Halloween. So, right?
Mm-hmm.
October 31st
Yes.
in our world. It's the only time they can visit until midnight. And then wherever they are, they're stuck there for another amount of time until next Halloween. So, yeah, I guess the bus just keeps running.
Yeah.
Somehow she got there.
Well, because time works differently in Halloweentown. That's something that they mentioned. That, 2 hours in, like, the real world could be 2 days or 2 weeks in Halloweentown. I find that interesting because Aggie waited until nighttime on Halloween to come visit her family, and it's like, you had days.
No, yeah, that's true. I thought that was strange as well.
She was trying to save them from the bad thing, and
Yeah, you know what? Maybe she was focused on trying to fight the bad thing. That's a good...
And she realized, I need someone else to help me with this, so let me go get my daughter who hates me and my grandchildren.
So Judith, that's her real name. That's the actress's name. I'm such a nerd. So Gwen shows up and she's super angry and she's like, we're leaving. You're not a witch. Fight me, right? Like, she's immediately angry.
Yes.
But going back to that, she tries to take a bus back and
there's no buses for a long time. Yeah.
None. So she decides to go see the mayor about it. Yeah.
Wow.
And, like, it's immediately, like, he's down to clown. Like, he is ready. He's like, I'm ready to be a stepfather. Like, come on.
Yeah,
yes. Literally, I wrote down, which one said this? Someone said, correct me on who it is. Someone said in this exchange between Gwen and Calazar, you always did let your magic do the talking.
That was Gwen to Calabar because he showed her a dead rose and then it he reanimated it.
Like, what does that mean, Disney?
Yeah, that sounds a little.
Their whole exchange was very.
No, I thought that as well.
That's
very
I was like, ew.
I was a big fan of the one time Marnie's like attitude made me laugh was, I'm not calling him dad.
Yeah, that was funny.
basically he's not able to do anything, so they run back into Aggie, the grandma, and I don't know exactly how that worked out. Oh, no, Luke lured Aggie into the
the theater.
To see the bad guy.
Really quickly, I wrote down, I don't remember when this happened, but it must have been around this time. I said, dang, the mayor is on something trying to stop Debbie Reynolds. And then I said, the patriarchy, crossed it out. And then I said, men in power, and crossed it out. So he was like, because, oh, I remember. She, like, ran into that woman, and then the woman turned, like,
evil.
Yeah. And then she was like, oh my God, something's happening to our people. And the mayor was like,
just brushed her off.
Yeah.
Because she's a woman.
Exactly. He didn't care. Calazar.
But it's Calabar. He actually didn't care because he's the bad guy. And so Luke lures Aggie into this old abandoned theater where she sees all of her friends that have disappeared. They're kind of petrified in these theater seats. And she meets the basically Calabar's alter ego. He's this dude with like a bag over his head. It kind of looks like a scarecrow, basically.
Yeah. He's scary.
Big old
I know.
His face is mangled looking.
3-year-old me would have peed myself.
I was
nope.
6-year-old me was so into it, let me tell you. I was like, yes, we are here for evil scarecrow wizard. So he's like trying to like get her on his side or like get her to stop, and Gwen and the kids like end up coming to the theater.
Yeah.
And
as he's attacking their grandma.
As he's attacking Aggie, yeah. Luke tries to stop them, and I love this. So Gwen obviously is rusty with magic because she tries to vanquish him, and he gets covered in flowers, and that's hilarious.
Which is what he deserves. Because you know what, Luke, you're an idiot. Because Luke this whole time, Luke has been working for Calazar, the Scarecrow Man.
Calabar.
Calabar? Oh, Calabar. Czar, Scarecrow Man. And he did that because, he wanted a nose job because he is some sort of, like, troll.
He's self-conscious.
And he turned him into a human by working for him. So, what did you think was going to happen, Luke? So Calabar starts attacking the grandma, like, with powers and shooting it at her. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's trying to kill her. And Luke is like, no, you didn't tell me that you were going to hurt her. I'm like, what did you think was going to happen? Well, I guess that's why he's a foolish child. Yeah. But I'm like, Luke, you're an idiot. Get covered in flowers and get out of here, please.
He just wanted a girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like,
typical.
I have my moral of the story. We'll get there, though.
I can't wait.
So basically what happens is Aggie and Gwen end up petrified, right? So it's just the kids that are trying to save the day. They get away. It's
actually pretty scary. Yeah. Like, literally, so he's throwing these powers at them, and they're just not moving anymore. And as the kids are running out, literally Aggie has to say to them, don't worry, we can still breathe, we're just petrified, something of that nature. And I'm like, dang.
It was very ham-fisted, the line. You know what I mean? It was like, it's an evil spell that only makes us stop in time. Like, it just took way too long, and she's like,
I know!
Stopped.
Like, her mouth's still moving. But I think they had to put that in there because I, even as an adult, was like, oh my gosh, they're dead.
Yeah.
They kind of had to put that in there.
Just like their dad.
Oh.
Dang.
Whoa. So these kids are traumatized. Poor freaking Sophie's like...
I don't think Sophie cared, though. Sophie was like, we got this.
Yes. Sophie
was like,
again,
ready.
most competent person, right?
True.
They run into Benny. Benny is evil now. And Sophie sicks a dog on him.
The dog was the true hero of the story.
Honestly, yes.
Obviously.
Clearly.
That pup.
True.
So cute.
Good pup.
Also, they have animals in Halloweentown like pets? Like, is
They
the
must.
dog a pet, or is the dog living his life?
This is a very Goofy Pluto situation because there are
There are
dog
people.
people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And their head was not matching their chest.
I have that written down. They have makeup on their head, but none on their chest or hands. And I'm
Yeah.
like, we love a budget stretch. Yes. Thank you, Disney.
Yeah.
So the kids have to create the potion themselves. They've they know that their grandma was trying to make this potion, so they look at it and they need a vampire's fang, the sweat of a ghost, and werewolf's hair. So they go on a little adventure to get those.
Yes. The ghost one creeped me out and grossed me out at the same time.
Ew, yeah.
Did that not affect anybody else?
Okay. This is probably my favorite scene because they're fully, like, roasting him, both physically and metaphorically. Like, 'cause she's just like, oh, I'm gonna make fun of you right now. Put on a sheet and go, woo! He's like, that's a stereotype. So he's in one of those old-timey, sweat chamber things,
basically.
which, a sauna.
A
sauna, and they turn off the heat and get his sweat.
Yeah.
Then
They didn't get much of it, right?
No,
it was just like
a
a single
drop.
drop.
a drop
Off
from
of
his
his
nose.
Which I would think you would need more than that. You know, like a tablespoon, maybe a teaspoon, not as much as like a
Sammy,
teaspoon.
have you ever wanted to measure a teaspoon of sweat?
Ew, yeah.
That's awful.
No, but you're telling me just a drop works? I don't believe
Apparently.
I mean,
I
a
don't
drop will
believe
do
it.
ya.
it. Yeah.
So, then they go to the barber shop, which
That was
is
my
run.
favorite. Like,
Yes,
that was too funny.
It's run by a werewolf.
Yeah.
Hilarious. He's like trimming a like plant person's a plant person's like body, basically.
Yeah.
He's like, she's a delicate flower, not a shrub.
Yeah, he was funny.
He was good.
And
So
then
they
he-
distracted him and just buzzed him.
And made it work.
They made it work. And then they went to the dentist to get the vampire's fang, which was being pulled.
That to me seemed like an afterthought in the writing of that movie.
Yes.
Because they didn't tell us how they got in there, like how
How she became suddenly a dentist's assistant, and he just hands her
this
the
tooth
fang,
Yeah.
and she's like, got it, and just walks
and just
off.
left with it. Yeah.
It is quite possibly the scariest part of this movie, I'm gonna say, because the upward shot looking into quote-unquote the tooth fairy, a man who is 95% nose, and he's looking down and going, I'm the tooth fairy, is the most horrifying thing I have ever seen.
Are you kidding?
I'm terrified of that man.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Every year I'm like, ugh.
Oh, and can we
That did not-
also
okay.
appreciate, so when he takes the fang out of this vampire's mouth, apparently they didn't have CGI back then because they just painted her tooth black, not even well, because you could still see there was a clear tooth there.
Clearly.
I don't know why they didn't say, hey, maybe try to talk out of the other side of you. I don't know. It was, you gotta watch it. You gotta see it for yourself.
It's
I
bad.
can't believe that you were horrified.
I'm so
by
scared
that.
of that thing.
Are you afraid of the tooth fairy in general?
No,
No. Okay.
no, I have perfectly normal fears that don't need to be discussed here.
Anywho, okay.
So they end up making this potion. Marnie can't remember the spell to initialize
Freaking
it.
Marnie. She had one job.
To be a witch, she didn't have any deja vu about.
Yeah, this girl's had no training. Her mom's dropped the ball for 13 years.
Okay, but how did her sister remember it? Who was a damn child, and then she didn't. You know?
She made a song, which is how I remember things too.
Oh, me too.
Which
That's how you get good grades. Honestly,
True.
that's the only way.
I wish that they would have brought her up doing the song earlier in the movie, so it could have tied in better. I think that would have been really cool, like seeing her like humming something and they're like, oh, what are you humming, or something like that.
That really came out of like
left field. Like, oh, I made a song about the spell. Like, I wish they could have tied that in a little bit better, and they could have done that so easily.
Truly, hindsight, you know, for a 22-year-old movie. So then they have this potion. They have it in Merlin's wand thing, which kind of looked like one of those old PlayStation like motion detector things. Yeah. And they have to put it in the pumpkin that's in the middle of Halloweentown, because mortals see, mortal do. You have to light the way. It was a little ham-fisted. That she was like, oh yes, mortal see, mortal do. I gotta put it in the pumpkin. Yeah,
that, I was like, I would have never have thought. I would have never have thought of that.
Yeah,
but you know, you couldn't remember the spell, but you can remember that. Whatever.
Yeah, you know,
interesting, Marnie. Okay, girl.
So Marnie gets some help from Luke. At this point, the bad guy has shown up on... No, I'm doing it.
What is up with us?
Contagious. The bad guy has showed up on the City Hall building, I guess.
That's what,
and he's talking about taking back the mortal realm. Halloweentown shouldn't exist. He wants to take over the mortal realm because that's what he wants to do, right?
Well, I feel like he did when he was talking Calabar.
Are you saying that he's having some salient points? Are you like, actually?
I kind of understood what he was saying, because the mortal world and the weirdo Halloween world used to all live in harmony, but then the humans didn't want them there, right?
Yeah.
So then they moved to Halloweentown, so they kind of got kicked out. So I understand what he was saying. He wanted to go back, but he wanted to go back in a bad way and take over.
Well,
I can understand where he's coming from if it was in a nicer way.
I think his reasoning was a little sus, because he basically was super angry that Gwen dumped him and went to the mortal realm.
Let me tell you. I literally wrote down, why do men have to kill everything when women turn them down?
Exactly. And now,
he got me.
And now we're going to the moral of the story, because here's the thing. I wrote down at the end of my notes, moral of the story, men are trash. They'll try to overthrow the balance of the universe if you don't sleep with them, but make it Disney. This is a story about incels. That is my thesis for Halloweentown. Because Luke wanted to get a girlfriend, so he got hot, and then he betrayed his own, conscience.
I take my earlier statement back about him. I do.
Then Calabar couldn't, hang, and just decided to completely destroy everything.
Ugh, I hate Calabar.
Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got me. Calabar was like, yeah, they got kicked out and go back. Meanwhile, he just wants to go.
Calabar picked me up at 8. Thank you.
Meanwhile, he just wants to use his magic again on Gwen.
Yeah, he wants to make a lot of magic with Gwen. Clearly.
God.
Oh God.
It's so yeah, he shows his face as Calabar and sees Marnie's cloak going through the crowd, right? So he wants to stop her. And it clearly, obviously not Marnie. It's clearly a distraction. It's a boy, right? So he hits her with the petrify thing, and it turns around and it's Luke, and he goes, "Fooled ya," which is the worst. You had time, Luke. You wanted to be cool. Say something cool. You said "fooled ya."
I was gonna say Luke redeemed himself from what I'd said, but okay. We're going with the dweeby part. I get it. Love it.
No, that's fine. He did. He. It's a redemption arc.
Yes, for sure. I think Luke can. Be good.
He's back on my list. Not as close to number 2, but he's a number 2.
Sure. Well, we'll get okay. So Marnie ends up on top of the pumpkin, gets hit with the petrify, and drops the wand.
And it magically turns upside down and fits perfectly into the hole.
As a flashback of, you're not a witch! And all of the things that she has dealt with over her time in Halloweentown play.
She is a witch.
She is a witch. And the jack-o'-lantern lights and unpetrifies everyone who was previously a victim of Calabar.
Dang, victim of Calabar. There's probably a lot more of those out there than just the petrified people. I'm just saying.
Listen, yeah.
Can I say that it's real funny that when Calabar, it's really hard for me to call him Calabar. I just want to call him
what you want to call him.
Calzone.
He doesn't deserve to be called Calabar. When Calazar shows up and is giving his whole speech about how, we want to go back and take over the world, they kicked us out. All the people standing there in Halloweentown are like, oh yeah, that sounds great, woo. They're like supporting it. Mm-hmm. But then when
Gabby, you just said it got to you too.
It did. I was with him. I would have been one of those people that was like, yeah, you're right. But then they changed their tune real quick when Aggie comes back, and then they're like, oh yeah, you're not. I'm like,
yeah, Aggie for mayor.
So on it. Wow. Has my vote. So Aggie and Gwen come, and Calabar is not defeated yet. They have to hum him to death.
Were they humming, or was that just the backtrack of the music?
They were humming. They were and they didn't have enough power, but then Dylan's little static electricity in his fingers started happening, so then he had to hum too, and they beat him. They beat Calabar.
Through the power of music.
Yeah.
That's a lesson in there, too. Music is powerful. I feel it.
Call Mark Mothersbaugh. No, it was very... so, Calabar is defeated. Marnie talks to Luke, and he says, I would never have had a chance with you like this.
Oh, yeah, Luke now has a troll face.
Listen, I felt so bad for him when he said that.
Hey, we all gotta learn to love ourselves. Luke can do the same.
I know.
Yeah,
I don't feel bad. He went to black magic to get a beautiful face.
Yeah.
And who's to say Luke's not beautiful? I think Luke looks better as a troll.
Beauty, beauty's on the inside. And he was kind of a not nice person the entire time, other than the very end. So maybe...
You're right.
Well, doesn't Luke go into the second movie? Or no, is that a different troll?
Yeah, Luke is in the second movie.
And the third?
No. He's not in the third movie. But so at the end, basically they invite Aggie to stay with them in the mortal realm and teach Marnie and Sophie, maybe Dylan, how to be witches or warlocks, depending.
Which I feel like they should have stayed in Halloweentown.
Yeah, I was kind of confused about that part. Like, if she...
There's a power vacuum in Halloweentown now. And that's, I guess, why things happen in the second movie. You know?
I want to watch the second movie.
Yeah.
We should have watched them all.
That is a stretch. I don't know about that.
Where the third movie is a different Marnie.
You know, next year for Halloween, we can watch Halloweentown.
You already tagged your spoilers.
Yeah.
I was going to say spoiler alert, but you already told me.
But yeah, so maybe next year we can watch Calabar's Revenge or Calazar's Revenge, whoever you really...
Calazar's Revenge.
I'm not going to remember this first movie by next year.
That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. You can watch our podcast to remind yourself.
Exactly.
So what were your thoughts overall? The important question. Did you have fun?
Is that the important question?
Yeah. Did you have fun watching Halloween?
Not especially.
Oh, really?
That's okay.
I feel like people are gonna hate me. They really, like, if you're into Halloween, you're, like, really into Halloween, right? Like, it's, like, one of those things where it's, like, you are or you aren't. Mm-hmm. And I'm definitely not. So, and I went in with an open mind.
Yeah.
I did. I was like, we'll see. Maybe I think if I would have watched it when I was younger, maybe not 3, but like younger, and then watched it again, I would have like appreciated it more. But I was just kind of like, I feel like I'm too old now to like. I thought it was
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely, you're out of the age range that it, you know, would have been targeted towards.
So, you said that you think people can either be super into Halloween or, like, not into it. I feel like I'm middle of the road because, again, I was sheltered growing up, and like Marnie, I was not allowed to trick-or-treat for a lot of years, and then that did change, and I could. So, I like Halloween. I don't like super scary stuff, though. So, like, that's how I feel like I like this movie, because it's not super scary, because I was a little worried. I was like, oh, I forget, how scary does it get? Because if I'm, like, by myself and it's nighttime, I can't watch super scary stuff. So it wasn't too bad. It was like getting up there with Calabar in his scarecrow suit. He was scary looking. But I don't know. I do remember watching it when I was younger, so it does have some sort of nostalgia. And I don't know, it's a fun little Halloween movie that's just goofy, so I do like it.
Absolutely.
I mean, I will agree. I think out of anything that we could have watched for, like, Halloween, this would probably have been the best the best option, you know? Not a fan of scary things, so, like, I'm glad that this was, like, it was quirky, you know? Like, it wasn't, like, horrifying.
I am the biggest fan of scary things. I'm like a feral pumpkin child at this point compared to you two. Like, I didn't trick-or-treat. I don't like Halloween. I'm like, you know, I very much, I love Halloween. I love scary things. Like, I've watched scary movies since I was probably way too young. So this is just something that's really, it holds a lot of, nostalgia, but also, like, emotional value. I watch it with my mom, you know, like, it's something that I've grown up with. So I'm glad that I can look at it in a bit of a more critical lens now, where, you know, I'm obviously an adult and Halloweentown maybe isn't, like, the pinnacle of cinema, but it is something that I can examine and see how it affected me growing up.
I love that. That's deep. I like that.
Thank you.
Also, side note, speaking of, like, trick-or-treating, do you have a favorite thing you went as to trick-or-treat?
Listen, I went as Belle for, like, 5 years in a row.
Sam, you're freaking lying.
No!
I was about to say my favorite costume was Belle.
We share a name. We share a Halloween costume.
Oh my god, she was my favorite.
Do you have a picture?
I do. Oh yes, I do.
Probably.
This will be going up on our Instagram. You follow us at Easily Entertained.
Listen, we should just dress up as Belle this year.
Do you have something? When did you start trick-or-treating?
Well, probably maybe like 11, 12. I think the funniest one was my mom made me a TV remote. Oh, and I do have a picture of that, so look for that on the Instagram.
Yes.
I love that. See, we were never, like, creative. Like, we just, like, store-bought everything. I was every princess. Like, every princess. And then I was Britney Spears once. That was a good one.
Oh.
I was Britney.
As an adult, I dressed up as Miss Frizzle for Halloween a couple of years ago and, like, made everything that I wore, and it was quite possibly the best costume ever. Like, it's just, I still love it.
Yeah.
So, you got a picture of that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I
haven't trick-or-treated.
I was 25, like, trick-or-treat.
No, I meant I haven't dressed up. I think 8th grade was the last time I dressed up.
What? Oh, it's so fun as an adult.
Yeah.
I did what's the guy from Ed, Edd and Eddy that has the board, the wood board?
Oh.
I forget his name, but I did a
Stanley?
cute version of that with the board, and I walked around at a Halloween party. Also, I did Avatar. My senior year of high school, they're selling an Avatar kit with a nose.
Are we talking blue Avatar or like the Last Airbender?
Oh, not blue Avatar. Okay. I guess I would be a Na'vi person. Yeah, so I painted my face blue, put on a nose, and walked around as a almost grown adult person.
Yo, I love that.
I love that.
Trick or treating. That was probably the last time I trick or treated.
Yeah.
I have pictures of that. Stay tuned.
Oh yeah.
I was in high school. Like I trick or treated in high school.
Really?
And not just like one year I was like 15 and I was like, why not?
Yeah,
you know,
well,
nobody gave me kids.
No.
Yeah, you can
So it's
notice
too
that
old.
the adults are like, oh,
Yeah,
kinda
which is
like,
kind of sucky.
Yeah.
Like, the kids could be doing something else on
exactly.
Halloween, you know? Like, another question.
Yes.
Just to, like, you know, I don't want to say end things, but if you had to rate this movie, say your Rotten Tomatoes,
Whoa.
what would you rate it?
Oh man. I feel like I have nostalgia goggles on though.
But that's okay. You can rate it how you want to rate it.
I'd rate it. Are we at a like 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 100? Rotten Tomatoes is 100.
Oh, you're right. Go with your gut.
I'd give it an 87.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What about you? You go next.
Oh.
You're the one who asked the
I
question.
know. I know, but I don't know. I would probably say like a 72.
Okay.
I won't watch it again, but the first time I did, it was fine.
Yeah, a solid C.
Yeah.
It's still passing.
C's get degrees, baby.
Indeed.
What about you, Grae?
I would probably do an 85. I
Okay.
think, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause it's not, like, it's not the pinnacle of cinema, but it's fun.
So yeah, we've watched Halloweentown. We at least somewhat, you know, enjoyed it. Maybe not so much for Sammy, but that's okay. What are our plans for October? Are we, you know, doing anything fun? Avoiding the coronavirus?
Yeah. I was really excited for this October, because I was like...
Maybe we can go to a pumpkin patch. Like
Yeah,
the three of us.
something.
We'll take cute pictures.
Because I was
Once
really
again,
excited and
Always
thought
be promoting.
I wanted to dress up and do something fun and go to some sort of Halloween event.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But that looks like that is not happening this year. So 2021, crossing my fingers. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I got no plans for the
No.
rest of this year.
All right.
Either.
Or month.
I also don't have any plans other than grad school. I'm going to be
that.
writing a lot this month.
Woo.
Watching our next
Next.
subject,
Yes.
which should be Mulan,
Yeah.
which
Yes.
will be very exciting. So I hope that everybody gives that a listen next month, November 1st. And thank you for listening.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to our first podcast.
Our first ever podcast.